Forget gurus. Forget anyone claiming to be an online business expert without going through the challenges of entrepreneurship themselves. The Real Money, Real Business podcast is here to prove the best insights in online business comes from your fellow online business builders. We dig into stories of entrepreneurs selling their business on the Empire Flippers marketplace so that you can learn how they made their business profitable, how they overcame obstacles, and what lessons they learned in their online journey. If you want to take your business and your knowledge to the next level, you've come to the right podcast. Let's get started.
Hello everyone, Craig here with another great business to discuss in this episode of the Real Money, Real Business podcast. Today's guest is Simeon, and he's selling his Amazon FBA business on the Empire Flippers marketplace. So welcome to the show, Simeon. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great, Craig. Thank you very much. It's great to be here.
Yeah, thank you very much for joining us, and we're looking forward to hearing more about your business. But before we dive in, let's go over a brief summary of the business. It's an Amazon FBA business in the children niche, created in December 2018. The average monthly revenue for the business is $9,811, and it makes an average of $3,616 net profit each month. For everyone listening, you can visit empireflippers.com/marketplace and search for listing 54635 to learn more about the business, or you can unlock this listing to start your due diligence if you're interested in purchasing this asset. So now that I've given a general overview of the business, let's have a look at what's included in the sale. We have the Amazon Seller Essential account with 10 SKUs, 4 domains in all sites' content and files, 3 trademarks, supplier contracts and relationships, and SOPs. And it's important to note that inventory is not normally included in the list price, but further details can be provided to active buyers. Okay, Simeon, now let's hear from you. Can you tell us a little about your background in building and running online businesses?
Back in 2009, I realized there was a product line that didn't exist in the children's markets and scientific moms and dads. There's the product line I've developed relates to scientific as well as just fun for kids, and recognizing what didn't exist. And I invented this product line, and the reception was really phenomenal right away in 2010 when I launched the initial products. Later in 2017 and 18, I reformed the company, and with all the knowledge that I had gained over those prior 7 or 8 years, to really narrow down the packaging and the form factor of these products and develop a whole set of new products based on this experience, and has been very successful since. And Amazon ultimately allowed me to then put those products into the market. Amazon FBA is a great way to go for this specific line of products because it gives you all the access to the people that are our market. The design for one of the product lines that don't exist anywhere in the world, and that IP can be very successful going forward as people gain the thought process that this is a series of products. It's educational, scientific, but yet fun. Kids really love these products.
So you set up this business on Amazon. How does it primarily make money?
This business makes money by the margins. Since we have proprietary product, we have trademark product, it's all invented by me. So the margins stay. There's nobody that can compete with us. Everything is unique. And if you search the world for products similar to this, there are none. And that's why it's so exciting to be in this business, because nobody does it. And the excitement that these products provide to kids is just amazing. So it makes money by the uniqueness of the product and the margins on them. And people love these products when they get them in the hands of their kids. It's just amazing.
Yeah, it sounds like you've received some good feedback on the products, and building that audience is super valuable for any type of business and just e-commerce as well. So yeah, very interesting. How come when you decided to create these products, you chose the Amazon e-commerce business model in particular?
The Amazon FBA provides a great access to the marketplace, specifically toys. Toys are stuff that can be shipped very easily. It's not a big product, so that's number one, can be easily shipped. Number two is that I don't want to ship product every day. Amazon FBA allows me to be hands-off and only ship to Amazon maybe once a month in bulk. So those are the two big things. And also, I think the last stat I saw is that about 54% of purchase decisions are people might be looking at Amazon first. So Amazon is a first choice, so they're typing in keywords or search terms that end up as keywords. And if they're going to type it somewhere, Amazon is a cost-effective place to pay for those search terms versus someplace like Google where you're competing with all kinds of things. But with Amazon, it seems to me it's narrowed down, and with Amazon Prime, it's free shipping. All those things add up to this being not a heavy object. Amazon Prime is just the ideal place to sell this product. There are some other channels that could be looked at that would be ideal. Gift shops, national parks would be ideal targets to gain places to sell these products. But that's another story, I guess.
Absolutely, yeah, that's the benefit of Amazon. You get access to their huge audience and you get to own a piece of Amazon as well. So how come is it that you're selling the business right now then?
Well, I'll be 55 years old later this year, and I'm ready to move on. I gave my all to previous endeavors and this one. I am ready to move to other things, and just something I want to take the next step in my life.
Yeah, that makes total sense. So is there anything that you learned from this business that you would apply to a future business?
Yes, Amazon is a great format or sales channel that can be used effectively if you have the right ideas and right products. And I don't see myself doing something imminently there, but in the future, I certainly would consider it.
Absolutely, yeah. There's so many opportunities on Amazon. When growing this business, was anything that you tried that didn't work out for you?
There was something on Amazon, since I use FBA, there's also Fulfilled by Merchant, but in general, for PPC, I'm not an expert, and I never figured out how to do it as well as I could. But right now, our PPC campaigns are about 7 to 10% ACOS, advertising cost of sales. I've tried higher bids on some great keywords, and the answer to the question is I never did figure out where to stop my bids in terms of high, because I always like to run my ACOS 10% or less. So when I ran higher bids, I didn't find that worked. Certainly, I didn't do all the testing, but that's what I could never figure out as to where I should actually end up with some pricing or how much I pay for some keywords. Hope that helps.
Absolutely, yeah. It's certainly no easy feat. It's an advertising campaign that you can track well and see the profitability of it. And that actually leads me nicely into my next question of where the majority of your traffic comes from.
Yes, it looks like about 60% is just the harebrained idea that a mom or dad might have and says, I'm going to look for this toy, and it comes right to us. About 60% of our business on Amazon is non-PPC, so I guess you'd call it organic. It comes out of the blue. People don't realize that this product they haven't seen it before, and all of a sudden they get an idea, and sure enough, one of my keywords will pull them in and say, oh, wow, this exists, and then they purchase it. So the other 40% is pretty much straight up PPC, and with PPC, depending on what I do, it can run as high as 50% if I'm really active and spending more money on that, and run as low as 35%, I believe. But a lot of it is just organic, based on keywords and people realizing, hey, that would be a neat toy if it existed. And as time has progressed, more and more people, as our sales increase each year, we see more and more of this happening. And at some point, I think there'll be a common knowledge of this, and then I think a really good growth can happen.
Absolutely, yeah. And I see that there's 4 domains also included in the sale. Can you tell us a little about those?
Yeah, essentially they're redirects to the Amazon pages for the products. They're just redirects, but they reflect the names in our products, so they're just redirects. And we haven't done any marketing based on those domain names. We don't pay for keywords on Google or anything. We just have 4 domains that are relevant for the business, and we don't have a website specifically for those domains. They're just redirects to the Amazon FBA site.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. So if you were to keep this business, what are some ways that you would try to grow it?
I'd find a new channel, and that would be wholesaling to touristy gift shops. All these products could be sold at those two types of places. That would be my main growth. And then I would stick with FBA. I would potentially, if I was going to keep the business, I would think about PPC and potentially hire an expert, or if a buyer is an expert in PPC, they will do very, very well with this business, I believe. So to expand the business, PPC, and then expanding the product line, there's 16 new SKUs or ASINs that we would make. I just call them ASINs because FBA is our channel at this point, but the 16 new SKUs would also solidify the current 4 in one of the product lines, that would solidify that concept for parents and basically users of these toys and say, wow, this is incredible. We are onto this and we love this format. And I would probably release 2 to 4 of those each year. Probably if I was really juicing the business, I'd go 4 per year for 4 years to do the 16. And that would give huge traction, and I think it would explode the business's sales upward.
Yeah, that's really great to know that a buyer can have those products ready to launch and use those as growth assets for the business right off the bat. So as for the day-to-day work for this business, can you describe the amount and type of work you do on this business for maintenance?
Right. The maintenance is pretty simple. We have to ship to FBA maybe once a month or every 6 weeks or so, depending on the inventory levels that they allow. Of course, the Q4, there's a lot more that goes into that. You have higher inventory levels that are needed, and we have to watch that closely. But you might be shipping once a week once you get to early November, but for that until about the middle of December. So shipping is quite easy. The cartons that we ship in are simple. They're heavy duty enough to ship and not damage product, so it's pretty simple. We have one of our SKUs we have to repack, but we pack from a box of 50, we got to cut it down to a box of 30. But that's pretty simple. And then on the maintenance for the other stuff is just to watch the PPC campaigns, and we have many of them going, and to adjust bids and occasionally pull the search term reports. So I'll do that every 3 months or so. So specifically what I do there is I add negative keywords to the campaigns. And we've got a great data set of negative keywords. Our products are so unique that they're going to show up on many different keywords that might be related to toys. And I found that many of these words don't work for us. So we put them in as negative, and that's why we get to an ACOS of sub 10%, because we can eliminate a bunch of words that we don't need. So those are the main things. And then, of course, there's inventory that needs to be ordered. Typically, that's a once a year process for the 2 different product lines. So they might be 6 months apart, but basically a once a year order from our manufacturers in China. And getting that product in, typically it takes from the time I order to the time I receive, maybe 4 months should be allowed. But if it's a reorder product, that time should be shorter now. The minimum order quantities are not that high, so it's all a reasonably efficient thing to do. Shipping quantities, the shipping cost is reasonable, and minimum order quantities are reasonable as well. So those are the main tasks of the business off the top of my head.
Yeah, it's going to be certainly great for the buyer coming on to have all that PPC data they can use for scaling the campaigns. Sort of related to that point, what skills or requirements do you think there are for someone who is not familiar with this niche or business model?
Right. Well, somebody not familiar with Amazon and PPC, if they can spend a lot of time bringing themselves up to speed on PPC, that would be very helpful. But it doesn't require that much skill, frankly. There's not that much skill. The only thing that gets incredibly complex at times is figuring out Amazon's PPC, because that's what drives your order flow for a certain amount of your business, and also drives the algorithm, then picks up your product and you get more organic and you get more PPC. So whatever computer skills you need for that to learn the Amazon software, that would be the keyest requirement. In terms of the importation of stuff from overseas, tutorials online can do that. but it's pretty straightforward stuff. A lot of the importing companies will lead you through that, so that's not a big impediment. But those are some of the things off the top of my head.
Yeah, sounds like you've set up the business well for a buyer with not so much experience could come and take over it and run it well. So as for the buyer, what do you think are the biggest risks with the business that they should be aware of?
The biggest risk is probably Amazon, and they change the rules all the time. That would be number one. Number two is lead time. The world is a different place right now, lead time for products, but that shouldn't be a problem if thinking ahead. But that's a small risk, I think. Those are the only risks I see. The product is entrenched in its niche. It's there and people want it, so I don't think there's product risk at all. So it's just the external risks of world disruption like COVID. We had a decent year in 2020, but we would have probably done a lot better without COVID. So something like that happens again, of course, that's a risk, but I think we're through all that. So I don't see a lot of risks at this time for the business. I see more for somebody who wants to really take the ball and run with it. There's this huge growth. I mean, this business with the product line design, absolute huge growth. If somebody has a PPC experience and can really tweak that, I think the sky's the limit on this. And I've also set up the inventory to be ideal for Q4. And we have inventory that'll carry all the products well through Christmas and some well into 2022, even to 2023 and a couple of the products. So there's no risk in getting that inventory, having to get that inventory and not receiving it on time. It's all there and ready to go. So the opposite of risk is that it's set up for success right now, and the risk has been mitigated.
Okay, yeah. Well, you've covered some points that you might want to mention for my next question. So putting yourself in the shoes of a buyer, why do you think this is a business worth buying?
Well, this business is worth buying because people love the products. They just love the products. And we can expand the product line. It's got traction. And I think it's about ready to potentially explode, because once Amazon figures out that, wow, these products are selling more and more and more, then it just happens. We've seen that in the past where all of a sudden it's like, oh, then Amazon will serve your ad to keywords more often, or somehow it shows up more often, and it just builds. But it's worth buying because the products are so good. It's simple as that, and the margins are good, I guess. Products are loved, and the margins are good.
Yeah, it's a good point about the margins. The margins are very good, and you need a quality product to be successful on Amazon, no doubt about it. Excellent stuff. So regarding the sale of this business, would you commit to an uncompete?
Yes, absolutely.
And how much support are you willing to offer buyers? Are you going for the standard 30 days of email and Skype support?
I'll do more than that. I don't prefer email support because I don't like to type all that much. So I prefer voice contact, voice calls. So if somebody's got a question to call, and certainly I could do 60 days of that, and even more like 90 if people want it. I want to see the business succeed, and I know some things that who knows what questions could come up, but it's a real nuanced type product line. So I'm the guy that invented it, so I might have some great insights, and I want to see the business succeed. So I'd certainly I could do 90 days of voice calls, a couple calls a week if need be. I don't think they'll need that, but certainly if there's a quick question, if I can help, I'd love to.
Excellent. Yeah, it's really great for a buyer to know that they're going to get that extra support with the business. And are you open to negotiating something like an earnout?
Of course, anything's on the table. I'd rather not do an earnout, but I guess I would consider everything.
Is there anything else you'd like to share that I might have missed?
I started this business because it didn't exist and it needed to be in the toy marketplace. And it's a great margin business. There's no competition. And the sales channel of Amazon FBA is perfectly designed for this business. The niche that I selected here was because I'm very interested in that. I chose this niche because I enjoy the science that this product involves. I'm selling the business because it's run its course in my life, and I'd like somebody to take it to the next level, and I don't think I can do that right now with where I am.
Brilliant. Well, thank you very much for your time, Simeon. It's been great talking to you.
Well, thank you, Craig. Thanks for this opportunity. I'm really looking forward to seeing who can take this business to the next level, because I really think it's going to be an extraordinary thing for the next owner. Thank you very much, Craig.
All right, everyone. Thanks for listening. To learn more and see if this listing has already been sold, head over to empireflippers.com/marketplace and search for listing 54635. If you're watching this on YouTube, click the link in the description to go straight to the listing. Once you've unlocked this listing, you'll be given everything you need to know about this business. So until next time, enjoy your digital journey.